Hello and welcome to Twin Bill. I didn't shout it quite as loud because this is a off-season check-in. We are not going to talk about Can't Stop the Music this week. We'll talk about that in January. I did rewatch the movie though. Did you watch it yet?
Uh, no, I was waiting till closer to recording time.
Okay. Uh, so I guess I'll just sort of lead this discussion. This is all my idea. Off-season tasks in quotes for the podcast. Uh, Something you could help me with indirectly or directly or whatever, however that word works. Because big goal is the theme song for the show,
Uh,
and I'll do this at some point when I get to it. But since you see him more than I do, maybe you could ask Dad if he has 30 seconds or less of music that we can have, and I'll edit it into a intro.
sure.
I'll ask him at some point too, like I said. But and then I gotta make a video. The easiest part, which is weird because it's not that easy, but whatever. It is by definition the easiest part. Make a video for the YouTube videos. So it's like doesn't have to be super big, but tells people that
Directed by Roger Deakins, of course, right? I mean, DP by Roger Deakins.
yeah. No, only directed by Randy. It's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. That's like Randy gets mentioned.
Crikey, maybe I'm Australia.
Well, a little more British than yours, but yeah, it's okay. And then I gotta figure out probably the trickiest one. We just gotta Google it. The best way to make thumbnails for the videos,
Yeah.
because that way they'll look better on YouTube, and also when I share it on social media, it will just be your face in a relatively exciting position next to the YouTube title.
Don't you take classes and stuff for this type of like getting yourself out there type of stuff?
You mean like social media marketing or something? You need classes for getting yourself out there and stuff.
Like I've heard you talk about in your classes how many videos you're gonna do a day and stuff, and I don't know if they
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
also could talk about how to do thumbnails for videos in those classes.
Actually, yes. I'm gonna bring all of these things I'm working on, mainly the thumbnails, to my acting accountability slash career planning class. That's a good idea. Uh, but also, I just need to Google it. I imagine it involves using Photoshop. Hopefully not that because I don't own that, but Adobe Preview or some form of video photo editing. Yeah.
We get good at photo editing. That'd be it's an investment, but it could be fruitful.
Yeah, I already do video editing, so it's kind of similar steps. But yeah, that's the main stuff for that. Not much else for the podcast per se. I'm still ironing out some format things. I was thinking, well, first of all, I agree. Something we have to talk about off air, right, listeners who are following this, that we're gonna cut the plot challenge. What do we call that at the beginning?
Yeah.
That's kind of a remnant of me and you just talking things out organically, and it got a little better with the speed round, but yeah. So I was thinking I was gonna instead when we do the my brilliant list of film reader stuff on the gets the plot. I have a whole thing planned. I guess the plot slash structure on the grading chart thing. Talk through the movie, how well it does the traditional 3x structure. It'll be easy, more fun way to do the plot. It'll be quicker.
Yeah.
And then the only other, I mean, we're gonna have more free-form discussion on the podcast. I mean, we could try to structure that, but once we do the preliminary thing, we could go into our opinions and clever things we want to say. I have a lot of things on this movie in particular because I recommend Marcus you read the Wikipedia article on Can't Stop the Music because it's funny how parts of it are juicy gossip about the backstage, and parts of it just ignore what you think would be the gossip. Yeah, so it's very. Most Wikipedia articles are good reads, but this is also one of them.
I read even when I'm not recording a podcast about a movie, I tend to read the Wikipedia article on a movie after I watch it, so I can understand the plot a little better. Because I don't like some people actually do the reverse, where they'll read a little plot summary before they watch the movie, so they're able to keep up during it. But then that kind of ruins the director's vision, sort of thing. So, but I do the opposite and read after.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, the plot part is not that good on Wikipedia because it's not a very well-regarded movie that people analyze. But
no, just in general.
the production section must read. All right, and then because there's no big obviously like news articles retrospectives about this movie because it's one of those bad movies that not only was bad, it's not interesting enough to like really analyze in depth or get a big cult following. We'll talk about more of that on the show, obviously.
Okay.
And then I was thinking end of the show, uh, instead of like we could do both, I guess. Instead of you know best part and worst part of the movie, I guess yeah, like we could do that, or it could be part of the general discussion. But I wanted to do a ranking system, so not only ranking each of these Razzie movies we watch to determine which one's the actual worst Razzie movie of all time, several thousand episodes later or whatever, but also like might be fun to discuss because there's a lot of categories obviously for bad movies. Like, is this like a classic movie? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Razzies? Putting a classic movie in your awards, or is it pretty good? Why is this in the Razzies? To so bad it's good. To all the way down to like, more. This is more middling, boring. To this is actually terrible with no redemptive value whatsoever. You know,
Yeah.
we could discuss things that way. I think it'd be fun to compare it to the preceding films, which makes the first episode harder because we don't have. In hindsight, we could have done two movies or something, but whatever. It's the first movie. Just review it as is. Uh, those are my thoughts so far on the format. Do you have any additional thoughts you want to share about that after I rambled?
It's difficult with and it's true with a lot of things in life, work, personal, whatever. Kind of talk about it like this before you actually do it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I don't honestly. You might want to write down anything that's important what you just said because I'm not going to remember everything you just said. But
No,
in
no.
general, I think your heart's in the right place. That you're aiming to streamline the podcast into the fun parts. The the plot idea wasn't a terrible idea because that's what a lot of people focus on was the ending about how endings and what happens in a movie. But it kind of felt like a had it became more of a had to do than want to do. And we should. And I think for us and the audience, it's best to do what we want to do, you know?
Yeah, but then yeah, kind of get best of both worlds with the three act structure because like for because it'd be like first act is simply just who's the protagonist, what do they want, what's their ordinary world, what pulls them into the movie. Second act, what's the quote unquote fun and games, the thing that the movie's supposed to be like entertaining with, and how they lose the thing that they were having fun with, and the third act is how they get it back in the ending. So we'll cover all the plot that quickly.
Yeah,
All
agreed.
right. Time for the second half of my idea for these off-season episodes. So, what have you watched this week?
I told you via text. The only movie I watched this week was and actually, if we do another one of these before we watch, we talk about that Village People movie. I should remember the title, but
Can't Stop the Music. Different song. Yeah.
I'm actually have a I'm gonna go hardcore into Oscar probably Oscar nominated stuff that is available on Netflix and stuff. But I was watching that is something else I watched. I watched some episodes of Welcome to Derry. I'm still not fully caught up. I don't know if you even started that.
I did not. And I don't even have access to HBO Max anymore, but that's the I guess different podcast.
Uh I saw Eddington on there and I decided to watch it because uh I like Joaquin Phoenix and I pretty much love Pedro Pascal
Hmm.
and it's directed by Ari Aster and A24, so I'm like, oh, this is Oscar stuff. So I watched it, and it's frustratingly close to me liking that movie. It has it's kind of Lynchian, Coen Brothers, weird drama, but it just settles for miserableness. It's a COVID drama slash action movie, and there's a lot of genres it kind of goes into, which is honestly, I think, a good thing for movies because if you just do one genre, it can get a little boring. And this movie's definitely not boring. It was 2.5 hours long. I watched it in one go, but it's a COVID drama. I'll wrap up soon. I'm sorry. It's a COVID drama, and it kind of is a satire of COVID themes.
Yeah.
So a lot of conspiracy theories being spouted on YouTube videos and stuff. And it's way too real to what they actually are. They might have literally copied actual ones, and those depressed me. So when I was watching this, they depressed me too. It's not. It's just yeah.
Wouldn't you expect the COVID drama to have stark, unflinching realism? I don't know what the point is of doing anything else.
That's the thing is it wasn't realistic.
No.
It went deeper into it, and I don't know, crazier. The thing about conspiracy theories is even if you go crazier with your conspiracy theory, it still sounds like other conspiracy theories. Um,
Yeah.
and arguing about mask mandates and stuff. It's like oh, I lived that for years in real life. I don't.
Yeah. Someone's gonna say at the generic speech they give for Best Picture nominees, like uh, stark, unflinching look at the humanity that was wrought
What
during.
I'm seeing online from the people who defend the movie is, don't you get it's supposed to be funny? And then because it's
That's
it's
yeah. That's the review of every Ari Aster movie is like, but it's satirical.
it's like comedy in the pop culture zeitgeist might be the hardest thing to grade from person to person because
Especially like what do you call it, Oscar comedy, whatever you call that. It's not funny.
right
It's not funny.
there's
Yeah,
people who would say if you identify satire, if you can identify it's satire, therefore it's brilliant. But just some satire is either funnier and or more thought-provoking than other satire, and that's the main two directions you want to go into for a successful
yeah.
satire.
So it's kind of funny. I was in a different situation. I was talking to a group of people about what art is and blah blah blah. But a big part of it is that art sort of some people believe art challenges people. So if you watch something, you get angry at it. That's very likely that someone's intention was that you're supposed to get angry at it. You're not supposed to like it. You're supposed to. It's a critique of the
That's the
whatever.
other thing is, like, I enjoyed. It's not my favorite movie, but I really enjoyed Eraserhead. But it's kind of weird and off-putting at the same time. I don't.
But that's the thing about Lynch movies like that. There's no like. It's not about a. It's not a social issues movie that also is weird. It's just a. It just seems like a weird movie. I guess it's supposed to be a social issues movie, like about childbirth or child having children. That's like a dinosaur baby and a.
Single
I don't know.
single single fatherhood, I guess.
Yeah, but it's not hitting you in the face with like this is a reflection of reality. Like
Yeah, I guess
if Eraserhead was like had Richard Nixon politics in it or something, that'd be different.
Racerhead kind of falls into the art film category, and then once the filmmaker goes that direction, then you can do it a different way. But Eddington was definitely not art film.
Yeah. So my slightly briefer update. So they just released Beatles anthology on Disney Plus. Re-edited is the same documentary, but they had added footage from the Get Back sessions. Recommend because it's remastered Beatles stuff. Uh,
Yeah,
Andy Griffith show, still Andy Griffith. It's like watching the same episode every week, but I enjoy it. And I'm like 3 seasons in out of 5. Man, it's so slow. That show's slow. Both in many ways. Uh, Talked about this on multiple episodes that you weren't on when we first started the podcast and you weren't available for whatever reason. You ever heard me talk? You probably heard me talk about it somewhat. How? So I've watched every Twilight Zone television show. I'm partway through the Jordan Peele one. I don't think it's an original take, but obviously you don't like it as much as I do. I don't think, but the Rod Serling Twilight Zone is like groundbreaking, in my opinion, greatest TV show ever made.
yeah.
Yeah, and then the '80s show was bad. The
Sure.
the show with
Did
Forrest
Forrest
Whitaker.
Whitaker do a reboot?
Yeah, I watched all that. That was bad. But then the shocking part to me, he doesn't have the greatest bona fides as a director because he's still relatively new in his career. But Jordan Peele made Get Out. I didn't like the Us. I didn't watch Nope, but I like Get Out. And
Hmm.
he did the Twilight Zone, and it's the worst one.
Hmm.
Worse than the '80s one with no budget. Worse than Forrest Whitaker and similarly no budget, I guess. But it's just so mean spirited. Like I'll give one example. So there's this episode. I won't give away the ending. It's stupid, but whatever. Um, Set in the future, and there's these astronauts. These are real astronauts, and with 5 minutes, the crew is bitching about the captain. And everyone's arguing. And
Yeah.
this whole episode, every episode's like that, where it's just like pulling teeth, and everyone's mean to each other, and the twists don't make sense, and the narration doesn't make sense. Gah! Why even call it the Twilight? All these versions. I understand the marketing thing where you're not going to get people to watch random show, but you call it the Twilight Zone, and there's like no attempt to maintain the pedigree of the show in any of these. So there you
Yeah.
go. It's not an original opinion, but if you live through it like me and watch like endless weeks and hundreds of episodes of it, Jesus Christ.
It's not, wasn't that like the first show ever on Amazon Prime or something like that?
I don't know the exact logistics. That makes sense because it's so new, and
It's just not.
it was actually cross-listed on Paramount Plus like
Okay.
the beginning of the year. But it was on Prime. It's on Prime, so it was a Prime show, I guess. But yeah, yeah,
All these years since it came out, because what that came out, what year? 2022 or something, or maybe earlier.
yeah. Long enough where I definitely started watching it after it fell out of the zeitgeist. That's the other thing is like I expected people would like that show, and maybe they do, but I don't hear any discourse about that show anymore.
Because people have said to me, "Oh my God, are you watching Black Mirror?"
Yeah,
Which
well reviewed. I don't know if it wins
no one's
Anthony,
ever
but
said anything good or bad about Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone ever.
yeah. I don't know what his status in Hollywood is. I mean, I guess he still makes money, but each movie he makes seems to get more and more divisive,
He's been producing things too, so
like Antebellum. What if a black woman traveled back in time to end their slavery? Probably something bad. Antebellum.
Isn't well, I don't want to get to the whole thing, but isn't Janelle Monáe technically non-gendered or something?
Oh yeah, I'm really. I wouldn't say I'm really bad with that, but something I'm learning as a old millennial. Yes, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm only to be crazy. Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
I obviously didn't mean. I didn't do that intentionally to
no,
misgender.
no, no, I know. Wasn't saying that. Do you want to get in what we're going to watch or anything like that?
We're gonna watch. Oh, well, I kind of like the gimmick of you being surprised, quote unquote.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you did any research on the Razzies, you would not be surprised what the second movie is. But uh, and people who somehow are watching this and not last week's episode, how dare you? We're doing the Razzies in semi-reverse order, year by year. So all the Best Picture nominees first. That way, it's the best for last, in my opinion. And there are some doozies from what I remember, like movies that get nominated for just like worst makeup or worst whatever. Because at least if you're nominated for a Best Picture Razzie, sure your movie stinks, but you had a big gimmick or a big budget, So yeah, I guess probably better wrap it up while we're relatively fresh instead of lingering on a live podcast or whatever. So yeah, we'll do something similar next week. I'm sure I'll have an update on the music, and hopefully, I think I'm gonna make a note. I'm gonna be more organized on the video and the what did I say video, music. Oh, and the thumbnails. Those are the big ones. So, any parting words?
Uh, what are your thoughts on Donald Trump potentially repeating as a Nobel FIFA Peace Prize winner?
Oh, real quick before we go, I want to talk about baseball real quick. Stupid. Uh, I'll give the Mets report. You can give the Dodgers report. Not much to talk about, but I've heard rumors that the Mets are interested in Kyle Schwarber and Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz. Not shocking. On top of that sort of quasi swap for Marcus Semien. So that's where they are at the winter meetings. Dodgers,
Okay, let me give the Dodger report.
fine.
You could fill in the blanks if I missed anything, but
Yeah.
Miguel Rojas was the most recent transaction. Woohoo! I'm happy for that.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just follow social media, so I hear a lot of things. Uh, Maybe pivoting to Jaron Duran because he's a little cheaper than Kyle Tucker. Uh, Edwin Diaz may be out as bullpen help because it'll cost more money and a draft pick. So we'll see. It's gonna heat up this week because it's a lot of things happen during the winter meetings, and I think the winter meetings happen today, start today, and
Yeah.
end later this week.
It must start pretty late because MLB.com was still not saying it's official or whatever. But
I
it's
thought I
more.
saw today when I Googled it, but maybe it
I
would make more sense if it's Monday.
I think we're both right. It's probably later today or something. But yeah. And then no, I had nothing to add on the Dodgers that I can think of tangibly. They're intentionally playing a lot closer to the vest than the Mets would. Brandon Gomes was like, "Our bullpen's perfect." I don't know what you're talking about. That's pretty close.
Yeah.
And the Rockies, everyone's dying to hear about the Rockies. They've been cutting a lot of their first round draft picks. Drew Romo's gone. Uh, what's his name? It's hard because I don't know what any Rocky looks like. Something with a B. He played first base last year for the Rockies. He got shot when he was young in the Dominican Republic,
Holy cow.
and he was playing okay last year, but the Rockies cut him. So Deep Podesta seems to really not be waiting around on crappy prospects. But, yeah.
Like I told you
Oh,
before.
wait, sorry. Hold that thought. One sentence. So the one Dodgers thing that you left out, what the dynasty is over because Josh Burns is now the general manager of the Colorado Rockies.
Oh, yeah.
You had a good run, Marcus. You had a good run. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, nothing important. Just that it's hard to know what any of these guys are doing because not like Josh Stearns and uh,
David
Andrew
Stearns.
Friedman will hold a press conference and say, "Here's what we want. Here's what we don't want." You'll hear who they sign when they sign it. And it's everyone guessing on these
Yeah, but I think the
other
biggest.
pages.
You're right. I think you're right. The biggest issue with the Mets is that they have the New York Post, and they are libelous. You want to call it that with their rumors? They just say things are going to happen and then they pull it back when it doesn't. Like
Yeah,
I saw today like, oh, the Mets signed Edwin Diaz yesterday. And I was like, that's weird. And then I was like, oh, it's just some random thing that wasn't true. But yeah. Yeah. New York media moves faster than LA media, at least for baseball. Yeah.
agreed.
All right, that was a fun little thing. I like talking sports a little bit. All right, see you next week on Twin Bill off-season report. Almost as
Happy
good.
holidays, everyone. I guess we'll be back. So you usually say that we're not going to see them again, but
Yeah,
happy holidays.
enjoy your December 10th shopping. Right, bye. Book me on your shows, or let's be best friends and hang out. Maybe I don't know.